But yeah, it was more so just like Nike's rise to where they got to be because of their Jordan brand.
Yeah.
Versus it being about Jordan himself. I mean, Jordan's a part of the movie. Has to be a part of the movie. But I guess that's what made it super interesting because they could have really and truly made it just like another Jordan movie. But it was much more business oriented. I think it's a good thing because when it comes to sports movies, it's very difficult. In my opinion, it's very difficult to make it interesting. If that kind of makes sense. Like I think that's why things like boxing and MMA usually
because of the action.
Yeah, because it's action. It's pretty self-explanatory. For sports, for anything that does not have to do with the actual sport, that's 100 times more difficult.
My mother actually bought me some G units.
Wow.
You heard me. You heard me right. G units, right? That's when G unit was popping, but they had all the clothes, everything. It's a gracious son. I was like, thanks and all that. But I thinking in my head, I'm like, who does she think I am? Who does she think?
What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Fanatic Islanders, your home for sports and sports entertainment. And we have new heat for you. As some of you know, a movie called Air came out, not too long ago. And we're here to talk about it. We're here to give us some synopsis. We're here to spoil it if you haven't watched the movie. So, watch the movie.
Yeah.
But we have our experts, A++++.
That's him. That's him.
Video editor, movie critic, Craig, back in Bill. If you have not watched the last movie review we did with Craig, go watch it. Creed 3, right there, right this side, or maybe that side. But how you been recently? It's only been a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
So how you been? Anything you want to tell the people? Anything?
It has been busy as usual. Nothing really too crazy been going on. There's a slew of good movies that came out. So this was an interesting one because when we was trying to find out what was the next sports movie after Creed 3, this one popped up and we didn't know too much about it.
Yeah.
I think I had found it randomly on YouTube and it's just like, this looked like a movie coming out because it was this and...
the George Foreman one? I guess.
The George Foreman one, yeah. So this was an interesting surprise, I guess, all things considered. But yeah.
So... I guess I haven't watched the movie, so this is gonna come from a non-person who has not watched the movie standpoint, right? And I guess we could do the same thing when we did last time and just split it in spoilers and non-spoilers.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen multiple movies, we've seen multiple documentaries of Michael Jordan, right? Last Dance is probably the most iconic one in recent times. How does this, I guess, stack up to it? Or how does this try to stack up to it? I know it's a different element of it, different angle of it.
Yeah.
But how does this one stack up?
For me, this is much more in the vein of Moneyball than it was like The Last Dance, so to speak. Because Michael Jordan was a part of it, obviously, because it had to do with Nike.
Yeah.
And the creation of the Air Jordans and so on. But this felt much more Moneyballish because it was purely business.
Yeah.
Really and truly purely business. The athletes are obviously a part of it. But yeah, it was more so just like Nike's rise to where they got to be because of their Jordan brand.
Yeah.
Versus it being about Jordan himself. Jordan's a part of the movie. Has to be a part of the movie. But I guess that's what made it super interesting because they could have really and truly made it just like another Jordan movie. But it was much more business oriented.
Yeah, and I think it comes a lot from the consumer perspective, I guess.
Yeah.
So okay, this is why you buy this. I want to tell a personal story before we dive too deep.
Okay.
But first, if you like Jordans, if you ever had Jordans or whatever. But anyways, to the personal story. Yeah, so my first pair of Jordans, it's a funny thing, actually. My mother actually bought me some G units.
Wow.
You heard me. You heard me right. G units, right? That's when G unit was popping, but they had all the clothes, everything.
Wow.
So anyways. So she gave me the G units. I was like, it's a gracious son. I was like, thanks and all that. But I thinking in my head, I'm like, who does she think I am? Who does she think? And I was like, who is my mother at this point? Do I really know? Because this G units, bro. But anyways, I think she kind of sensed that. She's like, I could take it back in, they had some Jordans in the store too. I could get you. So I was like, yeah, man, I could take the Jordans. I could take the Jordans. So that's how I ended up with some Jordan 2s, all black, because, Caribbean parents.
Of course.
All black tennis, We say tennis, not sneakers, by the way. Yeah, and so, comment your first pair of Jordans. Which Jordans you have, which number, whatever. But yeah, the movie kind of related to, it kind of wanted you to relate to Jordan in a way. Like, this why you buying this shoe. So I like that. I like that angle. Because it made it more personal and to why you should appreciate this man in a way.
Yeah, there was that iconic, since we knew this there's that iconic, the business presentation near the end. Yeah. Where Matt Damon's Sonny? Yeah, Sonny. His character Sonny, where he had that iconic line, and that was delivered like fantastically when he was like, and I'm gonna say it wrong, but it's just like when our time is up, people will forget us. Yeah. But when your time is up, everybody will remember you, sort of thing. And just like, you don't need Jordans to boost you up. We need Jordans to feel like you. Exactly. And I was just like, true. It's kind of true.
Yeah.
All right. So how were the actors in this movie? How was the portrayal of them? How were they, how did they, carry themselves? Did they fit the role? Did you buy into that character? Did you buy into the story?
Yeah, everybody's pretty good. It's been a while since, at least to my recollection, since we've seen Matt Damon and Ben Affleck in a movie, because Ben Affleck directed this. And he's a fantastic director. I always love Ben Affleck. So it's cool to kind of see them together again, especially because they're best buddies. And it's cool to see some other people like Viola Davis, Jason Bateman, and I'm probably missing some others, but they all pretty much hit it out the park. Like this, one thing I'll say about this movie, especially with the performances, it didn't feel like a movie that came out in 2023.
Okay.
And that may have to do with the budget, but it feels like a movie like back when sports movies was much more of a thing.
Yeah.
This feels like a part of that era, if that kind of makes sense.
I agree.
Pretty straightforward, pretty simple, to the point. Obviously, it's about, sports history, but it didn't try to be anything more than it needed to be. And I respect that a lot.
And what really surprised me was Viola Davis and Matt Damon's on-screen chemistry. But I was like, we need y'all to in more movies because they're just feeding off each other. And I was like, this is working. Keep this up. Just make this the main theme of the movie, which they did, obviously. Because Viola Davis is Jordan's mom in the movie. So, and Matt Damon is the main guy in the basketball division. Sonny, yeah. So he trying to sell his mother first off on to why they need to sign with Nike and all that. So, but that was surprising. And then everybody else just fed off of Matt Damon's energy. It felt like they was just like, go and we could just feed off you.
For real, but it really, you could tell they had fun making the movie because everybody played more or less themselves, but it still was really, really seamless and really, really believable. Like, it flowed pretty well in terms of everybody playing off each other. Just like the humor of it was pretty funny. Like, if you've seen any of these actors in the movie before, you've seen their performances.
Yeah.
But they're all just really, really good. Like, and I would wager to guess that Ben Affleck probably was just like, hey, friends, let's get together and just make a movie.
Yeah.
Because the budget was under 100 mil, which is low for this sort of cast. But yeah.
All right. So you said that it feels like a sports movie that was made when sports movie was prominent and they're the thing. Is that a good thing or is that a bad thing?
I think it's a good thing because when it comes to sports movies, it's very difficult. In my opinion, it's very difficult to make it interesting, if that kind of makes sense. Like, I think that's why things like boxing and MMA usually...
Because of the action.
Yeah, because it's action. It's pretty self-explanatory. For sports, for anything that does not have to do with the actual sport, that's 100 times more difficult. So I think it worked in its favor because, again, like, Moneyball is a perfect example. Like, fantastic movie, but is very lacking in... action.
Baseball, yeah,
like it's baseball. Like, it ain't even like 42. It's like it's purely business, and so it was super cool to kind of see this, and it needed to be that.
I agree.
All right, sports history. What other sports historic moment do you think they can? I guess they should do next, in a sense that I like the angle that they took on, okay, this is like what you said, this is why we buy Jordans. And, you know, we're not buying Jordans, so whatever, right? What historic moment do you think they should capture next? Or which historic moment do you think they should attempt to next?
I think the next one could be a Kobe doc for sure. Not a Kobe doc, but a Kobe biopic. Probably in the next like 10 to 15 years.
Yeah.
I think that's a sure bet. But outside of that, in terms of sports history, it feels like it's all been covered already. I'm trying to think. I mean, obviously, y'all much more versed in sports than me.
Oh, okay.
But I'm trying to think of just like the big moments that's at least interesting enough to put on screen. Because again, most of the ones we've seen so far, it's like the usual stuff. It's like insert first black athlete here, to this sport,
some drama or something.
Yeah,
that happened.
The standard stuff.
Yeah,
because you get to these like obscure sports movies like Ford v Ferrari, for example, which was a pretty iconic moment in sports. But how many people watch Formula One racing? Not Formula One racing, but how many people care about that part of sports history, especially when it comes to cars? And then you had Borg versus I can't remember, but it was the tennis movie with with Steve Carell and Emma Stone, which had to do with an iconic moment in tennis history. But how many people really care about tennis? Not much, And that was an Oscar-nominated film. Like, it was pretty good. I'm trying to remember what else. Yeah, but I don't know.
The Serena one.
Oh yeah, King Richard. Yep. I mean, Creed isn't a sports history movie, but that was the last sports film to come out.
Yeah, I think
George Foreman would be sports history.
You don't really recognize it until it happens because it's so like in culture. Like it would be like I wouldn't say pop culture, probably, but it's so ingrained in the culture. It's like, okay, this happening right now, but afterwards they come over the movie and you be like, oh yeah, that was all of us in that moment in time.
And yes, I guess ESPN usually or they usually do it anyway.
Yeah. So
into the back, like Philly Special, into the back, into the why it was called.
Exactly.
So I guess it's hard. It's hard.
Like they might do deep dives in the movies, but
yeah. I guess one of those things where like truth is stranger than fiction sometimes. Because even I wouldn't call it a sports movie, but the Tetris movie that just came out. About the history of Tetris and how that kind of happened. How that involved Russia and World War II, and all that, which was like crazy. But that's like a lightning in the bottle sort of scenario. So I don't know. I don't know what else I'd want to see on screen. But yeah, like you say, like it's so ingrained, you don't really think about it until it's just like, oh. Yeah.
Because even with this movie, it was like when they were going through the history and stuff, Nike's basketball division was trash.
Yeah. Yes.
They were focused on running shoes. They was like, okay, let's focus on these Cortez. We don't really need basketball. Like the way they were selling basketball to people, they just get a bunch of people in the draft. They don't care who they are. They was just throwing money at each one and see which one either turns into a superstar or sticks. So that's why Sonny's role was so important because he was pretty much, at least at the start of the movie, they was like, okay, this man labeled as a gambler from the jump. Yeah. He in the casinos, he going for broke, whatever.
And that was good setup, and that was really good setup for him.
Exactly. So, but then I guess he had some type of epiphany or something, and it was like, yeah, I will gamble, but I'll gamble in a smart way, I guess, because he was getting everybody in the movie was just giving him more advice on how to take this on. So it's like even when he saw Jordan in the championship game, he's like, okay, this boy's a star.
Yep.
James Worthy on his team. James Worthy is the king at University of North Carolina, and he's like, okay, why Jordan get this last shot? Because he was bad for the moment. So, anyways, he go into the board meeting, whatever, blah blah blah.
That was jokey.
Yeah,
talking to them.
There was a guy in the board meeting. This Nike now. This big Nike we know right now. This boy say, let's just go with that boy because he ranked 6.
Yeah. Because Jordan was too expensive. Yeah. Charles Barkley was too expensive because they signed the Converse and Adidas.
Yeah.
And they was worried about the German.
He ain't doing no research. He was just like, yeah, let's just sign him because he ranked 6.
Yep.
This should work.
That boy asked him what you like about how he's played the game. It's just like, oh, I know. It's just
like, so you feel like this could work? All these years, they were the closest division now. Because we ain't making no money.
Making no money.
So anyway, Sonny was like, wait, we got to go off the Jordan. We have to go off the Jordan. Everybody else, even though he went like third or something. He went third, and it's like, boy, we still got to spend the money, man.
Yeah. And that was not a surprising lesson, but like that was a cool point that I'm happy they continue to emphasize, because it's just like, but like you gotta spend money to make money, though.
Yeah,
you can't be cutting no costs, and they can't exactly. That's in any business model. But yeah, that was cool.
And actually do your research, and it was like, yeah. So I mean, and then you go deeper into the movie, and you see how Chris Tucker was Howard White.
Chris Tucker was really good. He still was himself, but he was really good.
Bro, Chris really Tucker is getting better and better at movies.
No, I know. I have nothing bad. I have nothing bad to say about him.
It is amazing,
I have nothing bad to say about him.
Friday to now, I'm like, boy, I can see why you don't want to go back.
And it's always one of those things where it's just cool to see those sorts, like comedic actors in serious roles.
Yeah,
you know,
Marlon Wayans too was in there.
Yep. That was a star-studded cast, way.
Yeah,
that was a real star-studded cast.
Surprisingly, that budget was so low.
Yeah, I mean, hey, ask your friends, do you a favor.
Yeah, because I mean,
and all of them have money, so I'm sure, like, because usually what happens, generally speaking, is when actors or actor directors get together and they really want to do a movie. Adam Sandler does the same thing. Like at that point, they just having fun. Just like, I just feel like doing this really cool thing. And then Amazon distributed with Warner Brothers, so this wasn't even a big studio release, so to speak, and that's why the marketing was so poor. We only really saw like one trailer. Like again, like we found it because I was taking up stuff on YouTube. Yeah, I was like, oh, it's coming out, oh, true.
And I mean, most of the movie is just them sitting around talking.
Yeah. Ain't really nothing too crazy.
Yeah, but I mean, it's good enough for me. I can't lie.
Yeah, it's that little soccer. That's all you need, really.
Yeah, because I mean, if we go into the steps of how they even get Jordan, it's like that was interesting as well. Because it's like I say, he was taking stuff from everybody. Even when he was watching a championship game, the way he got to where it's like, okay, we need a customizable shoe for this play. Arthur Ashe's commercial was apparently next on another TV next to the one he's watching the championship game on. And he was like, yeah, you could buy my personalized racket, blah, blah, blah. The same one I was using in the game. So he's like, wait, if that's a good selling point, we need to do the same thing with these shoes. That's the only way we can sell these shoes, by saying Jordan got the shoes on, so you want the shoes because you want to be like Jordan. It's really that simple.
Yep.
Yeah, so Chris Tucker's role was Howard. What his name was? Howard White or something?
Yeah, it's not right. Yeah,
that's his act. That was the guy in the actual portrayal. Yeah. So he told him to go talk to Jordan with me. Once you talk to the mother, it's a wrap. You got it as long as you talk this with me.
She was ready to run Sonny, but when Sonny first pulled up,
yeah,
like, ain't I tell you all no?
And then, I thought you saying something. And then Marlon Wayans' character was like, wait, because he was the coach on the national team or something like that, right. George Raveling or something,
right? And
he was saying that, okay, you going against Adidas, you going against Converse. Here are their weaknesses. Present that to the mother when you go talk to her. And then it was like everything was just leading up to a way where he could just get what he needed to get.
Yeah.
And that worked because Adidas at the time, I think they lost their founder. And then all the siblings were just fighting for power at that point. So it was like, but they ain't ready to go against us. Converse had, like you say, they had Magic and Larry Bird. So it was like, bang.
They don't need.
Yeah, Jordan could be playing second fiddle to them. And then, so we talked to the mother. He was like, right, that's the selling point. We need Jordan at this point. We need him. And we can make him, we could put him to the top the way he needs to be. And then we could just go from there. And that's how they get to that board meeting where it was. And even the guy, George Raveling, he was like, bruh, even Martin Luther King had to improvise at the end of his speech. So when you even get to that point, you got to do what you got to do.
You got to do what you got to
to get what you need, bro.
Facts.
So that was crazy. I like the entire build up to that moment.
Okay.
No, man, they did really well.
What would you, I guess, tell anyone who was about to go into the movie what to expect?
I know. I mean, I guess because it's such a well-known thing, it's hard to imagine anybody going to the movie not knowing what to expect. It kind of makes sense, you know? Like Moneyball is something that, and I always refer to Moneyball just because that's the only other sports business movie that pops into my mind. That's a movie where I would have to tell somebody, like, okay, like you need to be ready for a lot of people sitting down. This is about baseball. It's kind of boring, but it's exciting at the same time. With this, like, it's just so straightforward from the jump.
Yeah.
Like, really from the jump. It's just like they list off the market shares for Nike, Adidas, and Converse. They get straight to the point in terms of who Sonny is and what Nike need to do, because everybody know like what Nike is. So at this point, you're just like, oh, well, I know the ending already. You know? So, I mean, just sit back and enjoy. It's a good watch. It's entertaining.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Anything else about the movie we need to touch? I feel like we haven't touched.
I appreciate the final speech.
Yeah, that was very well done.
Yeah.
Very, 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 very well done. That was
That's the part where I was like, Matt Damon did the thing.
Yeah. Oh, he knocked it out of the park with that movie, with his role.
Yeah.
And it was so like it wasn't, like the movie itself wasn't even that dramatic.
Yeah,
so
they were just calm.
It was just calm, and like you kind of know where things going. There wasn't a whole lot of twists and turns. Like it was just such a straightforward.
Because it was like, I got the answers. I just could do what I need to do.
Exactly. So I mean, no, overall I loved it. I'd recommend it to anybody, sports fan or not. To be honest. Yeah, because even for me who don't watch a whole ton of sports, like I mean, it's hard to get lost in that type of movie.
Yeah,
it really and truly was very
linear. Yeah, and he was like, even if you was a superstar, you know, you break down. You still got the shoe, because he said the oldest thing in the book is people like to build up their heroes to break them down.
Yep.
But at the end of the day, you still got your shoe to where that's gonna be
sustain itself.
Yeah, it could be untouchable. So we can help you build that, and then they had to build a good shoe and get him be trash.
Exactly.
So, yeah. Yep. And then Jordan's mother, seeing all of that, she was like, "Right, we need a shell." So that was like the hardest part for the entire movie, because it was like, who in sports is get a share from these companies?
Facts.
So that was like the groundbreaking point. It was like, right there's on that phone call, I get to see that was a tough call, bro. It was like, yeah, I don't know if I could do that. It's like, but you want my son or not? He gonna be a star. Right? Exactly. You make up your mind. Would you really what? So it's like, yeah, like we all know it paid off.
Paid off many times over.
Yeah.
Okay, folks. Well, there you have it. You want to close us out?
I mean, it was a, what do they say, homage to sneaker culture. Even though I don't say that, it's so bad. But anyways, yeah. So I feel like just the way culture is now, they were just showing their respect. So
yeah,
I appreciate it. I appreciate it a lot. Even though I don't have that much Jordans, but you know, it was well done. It was well done.
Very, very well done.
We'll bring Craig back on. Like we said before, we'll bring Craig back on for any movie review that we will be doing. Appreciate you for being here again. Appreciate you for taking time out of your busy schedule. To be here at 8 o'clock on a Sunday morning.
Sure.
That's when you know the grind don't stop.
Real. The grind don't stop, boy. That's true.
Like we said earlier, and if you haven't liked the video by now, I don't know what you're doing. The like button is right there.
Rocking.
So, but remember, if you're watching on YouTube, like, comment, subscribe. If you're listening on any audio platform, hit the 5-star rating, which you should already be doing. So just double check to make sure that's there. Leave your comments. Let us know what you think. Go watch the movie and comment whether or not you think our explanation you think are correct. If they were incorrect, let us know what you thought about the movie, and recommend any movies that you may want us to go back and watch, and then we'll come back and we'll provide new heat for you. Until next time, y'all stay safe, y'all be good, and stay watching movies. Peace.
Catch y'all later.